We are getting new insight tonight into the surge of immigration arrests here in Western New York. Investigative Post published new numbers, and you can see them right there on your screen. Last year, federal immigration agents took into custody about triple the number of migrants as the year before. Meanwhile, we're also learning about who was arrested. Was it really the worst of the worst, as some federal leaders have claimed? Shoemaker is a reporter with Investigative Post who has been covering immigration issues probably more than anybody else around and broke this story. So Dale, before we talk about who is being arrested, let's talk about these numbers. I don't know that it surprises people that it's triple from 24 to 25, but what did you make of it big picture?
Yeah, so this is the data that we have been waiting for. There is a group of academics and lawyers who call themselves the Deportation Data Project. They have ongoing FOIA requests with the federal government. That's how we're able to get these numbers. That's all to say that ICE does not proactively make this public. You have to sue them, typically through the FOIA process, to get this information. We finally have the data for 1 year of Trump's promised crackdown, and it is, in fact, the crackdown that we all thought it was. The agents that you've seen on the streets, the headlines that you've seen, these are the numbers behind all of that. So it's not really a surprise that things have gone up so much. I will caution, however, that this is probably, we don't have the figures on this, but this is probably a pretty significant undercount because this is ICE arrests only. We are a border region. We have a heavy presence of Border Patrol here. The Border Patrol arrests are not counted here. And as we've reported in the past, there's a lot of them, dozens even, in collaboration with local police forces.
And then when we talk about who is being arrested, the president many times has said worst of the worst, we're going after rapists and murderers and all that. And that has certainly happened in cases, but what percentage of the people who have been arrested, who have been detained, actually had criminal records or had criminal charges?
It's about 1/3. About 1/3 of those arrested had some kind of criminal record. So to the flip side of that is 2/3 did not. And this is not, this is nothing. They have nothing on their record. It is 2/3 of the people arrested had nothing on their record. The only thing they might have had is an immigration violation, which we will note is civil violations. There's very few immigration quote-unquote crimes. I mean, crossing the border after you've been deported is a crime, and the federal government is certainly prosecuting those people for those crimes. However, when ICE is arresting somebody, more often than not, it is somebody who is an asylum seeker, who has an active asylum case going through the immigration court system, and they are being arrested before their case has been fully adjudicated.
And then finally, you also were able to get the numbers and get the specifics on folks how many of them have actually been deported, have been removed from the country, versus how many either remain in custody, likely maybe down south or in other facilities, or were released on bail or just released altogether.
Yeah, so across all of Upstate New York, now the Buffalo ICE office covers, from the counties just above New York City all the way over here to Buffalo. So across that region, we're looking at more than 2,000 people have been deported. For the Western New York region, it's more than 1,000. So that's, we hear sometimes about the population decreases here in Western New York. Now, I'm not saying this is the only factor for the population decreases by any means, but this is certainly a factor now whenever our leaders are talking about the population, and it's a shrinking population.
Finally, I have less than a minute left, but what about the reaction on both sides to this, right? I know there are some people who are very unhappy with the numbers of deportations, and then there are other folks who say if you're in the country illegally, you should no longer be here.
Well, that's kind of the key question, is what exactly counts as illegal? Like we said, a majority of the people being arrested are asylum seekers. Now, if you have filed an application for asylum, you are allowed to live and work in this country freely. You can get a job, you can rent an apartment, your kids can go to school. The Trump administration is focusing largely on that group of people. These are not people who are quote-unquote in the country illegally. So you have a lot of people who say, why are we disrupting these people's lives? They have not had their case play out through the system. Maybe their case goes through and a judge rules, okay, you're not allowed to be here, you have to go back to where you came from. That happens in many cases. However, we're interrupting that system, the Trump administration is, and those are the people who are being targeted. Of course, the other side of that are people who say, send them all home.
There's a lot to this reporting, as you can imagine. You can go to investigativepost.org and see all of it. Dale, thanks so much. Appreciate you.